Everybody tends to move together and then goes, and I think social media has made this even more intense.
Right.
I think this market has become much more of a gambling institution.
But there's also a bit of a lonely process being
Totally.
sort of all by yourself sometimes and everybody else saying that maybe you're crazy. What do you do in those moments?
So I would say 99% of the time, it's all about collaboration and team because everybody tends to move with consensus, myself included, most of the time, virtually all the time. And there's some people who are different, maybe have your view that are also out of consensus, and you check yourself a lot with those
Sure.
people. And you say, okay, what are we missing? What do we have wrong? And then I like to read a lot of people with a different perspective. And like, why do they think this makes no sense or what have you? So I tend to go with people that are aligned on the view, and then the people who aren't really try and study it and then try and get confident. But like I say, I've learned over time that we're not in the business of being right. We're in the business of generating return for clients. And what happens is the market perception can stay wrong longer. And I remember studying, as you did in school, the efficient markets thesis. I actually think they should throw that out because that is so far from the truth. I think markets are wrong a ton, but you got to survive, and you could be out of capital by the time the markets get it in theory right. So anyway, I try and stay in it. I'm not very good at doubling down when people go against me because your confidence goes. But I try and stay in what I have, and then try and develop the thought deeper and like, this is going to work.
Oh, that's fascinating. It's funny. I think it was Keynes who was at least attributed for saying the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay liquid. Do you find it, and this is very self-serving as a sell-side analyst, but do you find it more helpful for you to read people who have sort of the same general view so you can corroborate what you're thinking, or is it more helpful to find people who disagree with you so you can pressure test and find out where you might be wrong?
I'd say the most sophisticated answer was to challenge yourself with the people who have a different view. And I just don't as much as I should. There are people who I respect and I trust, and I like to look at, whether they're right or wrong, I like to go with that. But a situation when you're very against consensus, and I try and read a lot about the people who are aligned on the view. And one thing you learn is everybody tends to move together. And then goes, and I think social media has made this even more intense.
I completely agree.
Everybody moves in the same direction. And I found, maybe just from being old or doing this for a long time, there's a time when you see like everybody's moving and price has moved. And then now like, okay, now it's time to go the other way. And I think this market has become much more of a gambling institution. And you see everybody lined up on one way. And then, being a contrarian and going against consensus has become much more, I think, profitable. And particularly when the news flow is so intense. Like, it's been a pretty good trade. The market goes one way and you just fade it. Then it goes the other way and you fade it. And you realize you're staying on the line of a trend.
And I have to say, though, if basically the whole market is in one place, it is harder to make money that way because it's already in the price.
Totally.
And so where are you going to be there? There are probably some times where you have gone through, dotted your I's.